Welcome to Two Guys and Mike podcast. I'm your host, Jason Thompson, and my beautiful, illustrious co-host,
Michael Vincent.
And we are here from an undisclosed location in upstate New York, and we're going to talk. We have been on for a while, actually, so we have a lot to cover, a lot of ground to make up, and let's go. What's up, Mike? Hit the
ground running.
How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing great, Jason.
So I have to say, since we last spoke, we had a lot of news come out. You know, Kamala Harris announced her VP. J.D. Vance hit the ground running with all of his interviews and working through his the myriad of media-built hype and what do you call them? Controversies he had.
Yeah.
So what's your overall take on it all? I mean, I love Tim Waltz. I think he's awesome. He's like a folksy guy. You know, he's
loves horses.
He's pro defunding the police.
Wow. That's where you're going with this, huh?
He thinks that the lockdowns were great. He was huge pro mask and pro really important for us to have the vaccine. So he was all for that. As a matter of fact, in Minneapolis, St. Paul, thanks to the tutelage of Tim Waltz, they actually are now they all 5 times a day they have call to prayers on Muslim mosques. I think that's awesome. I love it.
That's fantastic.
I'm glad that we're inclusive and that the VP on the Democratic Party believes in all that stuff. And also the stolen valor, I think, is amazing. I think that the fact that he was able to desert his unit just before it got called up. Who
doesn't want to do that?
I think it's a great example for all our military servicemen. The Democrat ticket is the best it's ever been. You know, say nothing, avoid the media, and we'll vote for you. That's how stupid the American electorate is, Mike. They're a bunch of fucking idiots.
You know what? They're all buying it hook, line, and sinker too.
God, I can't believe we're in the position we're in with these bunch of lunatics.
Oh, it's. You would want to say it's surprising, but it's really not.
I think I gotta go to the bathroom. Just saying that stuff made me sick to my stomach.
I was scratching my head, saying, "Where the hell's he going with this?" And I was like, "Okay."
But I don't understand. The media says nothing of this. The media has not told anybody all the real controversial stance that Tim Waltz.
Well, I mean, we all know they're owned by the Democratic Party.
But that's not the point. People are not listening. They don't realize that they're not getting it out. Then as soon as J.D. Vance, who has been phenomenal at coming out and talking about it, they call him weird and a kook, and he's just throwing bombs. But the media is not doing their job.
Well, they're not doing the job that we think they should be doing. They're doing the job that they're told to do.
They're not doing the job the media should do.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. They're not doing their job. I know they're working for the Democrats. Of course, they're doing the Democrats' bidding. You know, the Obama puppet master has got them all on his strings.
They pull all the strings there.
So it was great. J.D. Vance had an interview with Dana Bash. And
saw that.
She was going after him about some of the things he said and the controversies around him. And at one point he says to her, well, you know what? It's good that you're bringing all this up. Why don't we talk about policy? Why don't we talk about things that got to make America better instead of worrying about that? And she says, well, we're here talking about you. And he goes, well, why are we talking about Kamala Harris? And she looked, and she had this disgusted look on her face. Well, we're not talking about Kamala Harris. And he goes, that's right, because she won't come on your network. Yeah. She won't have any. And then he roped her right in, and she's like, oh, I know. We've been trying to get her on. He's like, gotcha, bitch. Yeah. It's so freaking ridiculous.
Oh, no, I think he's doing a great job. I love him walking up to her plane.
Savage.
Gets off his plane and takes a walk, and his whole
entourage
following behind him.
All they have to do is play like the music and walk, so the plane explodes in the background or something, you know. And he walks up and he's like, so I figured I'd come and check out my new plane that I'm going to get in a couple of months, and I'll give you the interview that Kamala Harris will not.
Yeah.
And 25 days since she's been coronated and has yet to do a public interview.
And all of the media just comes up with excuses. Either they ignore her completely, or they come up with excuses why she's not there.
I know. It's unbelievable.
She's too busy. She's on the campaign trail. Well, everybody's on the campaign trail. That's
all part of it.
Yeah, it's all part of it. You answer questions.
Did you watch the 2-hour X interview?
I did not.
With Elon Musk that Trump had.
No, I gotta say I didn't see it.
So they covered a myriad of topics from, electric cars. Obviously, that's
That you would expect that.
yeah, from Elon Musk. They talk about space travel. They covered right down to the nitty gritty of cleaning up government and how to affect inflation, and right down to school fundings and everything else. It was pretty extensive and broad. I listened to about a half hour of it. I think no matter what side of the political aisle, there was probably something you liked in there and something you don't. I mean, Trump is, I believe, is a, I don't want to say that word, but is a moderate maybe.
Okay.
Because he gives you, if you get past all the rhetoric that the media puts out and you listen to what Donald Trump says and does, he's a pretty centrist guy. Yeah. I mean, look at what he did with the abortion, and he said, no, you know what? It's not a federal issue. Put it back down to the states and let the states do what they want with it. That's a pretty progressive view compared to Republicans. Not compared to Democrats, but for Republicans, that's moving the needle pretty far out.
Oh, sure. That's what they didn't want to touch that.
That's right, and he did it.
Yeah.
Donald Trump was the first president to move the capital of Israel to Jerusalem. The embassy, which was huge. It was a lot of presidents talked about it, and yet he's the one who did it. So a lot of the things that Trump does, if you get past the rhetoric, right down to, he came out and said no taxes on tips back in February, I believe it was, and the media made fun of him over it. And then Kamala Harris,
it didn't take her long to jump on that band.
And now they're like, oh, did you see Kamala Harris? What a progressive way to think. What an amazing topic to bring up, that now taxes are going to be free, or not going to be taxed for tips. They made fun of Donald Trump for saying exactly the same thing.
Yeah. And what's funny is because Harris is the one that actually was the deciding vote to tax the tips.
Yes. As a matter of fact, on the Two Guys on Mike podcast TikTok account, I showed that. And there were people that were calling me all sorts of names for bringing that stuff up. As a matter of fact, some guy told me I ate too much gravy. But whatever that has to do with
enough gravy, bub.
You know what? I'll take my southern gravy with my southern hospitality anytime. But I don't know. I just think it's been a crazy whirlwind. I think it's been 3 weeks since we had a podcast. 3 weeks. And I'm hyped. Hyped.
I
mean, I just want to get out there and punch a Democrat in the face.
Well, we'd have to go pretty far because I don't think you're going to find one very close to us.
I don't know. Mike, you look at.
You got to go knocking on doors.
I know we talked about this before the podcast, and you were like, "Oh, all these polls are wrong. All these polls are wrong." But I'm worried. I'm worried that the media is going to do enough of a snow job on everybody that people are going to believe.
Well, I think that's the whole purpose of what they're doing. I think there's a lot of fake polling out there. I honestly do, and I think that they are going to. Go out there and broadcast that the way they want it. They want a message to go out to discourage people. They don't even want anybody going out and voting on election. They want you to think that, well, it's going to be all sewn up, so no use even leaving your house. Stay in there. We'll take care of it. We got plenty of votes all stored here for you guys.
Stored?
Yeah.
Like in the
they're
cloud, like Kamala Harris said, up here in the cloud?
In the back of post offices and things all ready to go.
Oh, stored ballots.
Stored ballots.
Pre-filled out by dead people.
Yes.
Yes. Well,
in the name of dead people.
That's what happened in 2000. Boy, I can hear somebody screaming at us now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I've been getting daily updates on the polling because of him.
Yeah.
I can't take it. Oh, by the way, I actually blocked somebody on my personal Facebook page.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the same guy you blocked.
The same guy I blocked from our page?
I just couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah.
I'm all up for debate and Discord. I really am. I enjoy it. Exchange of ideas. But when you're unwilling to look at what your side is doing and say, yeah, well, that was wrong. I agree. And it's always, you don't acknowledge that, but you point out the opposition's gaffes or the opposition's stance you don't like, and it's always the opposition's fault. I got a problem with that. I don't think Donald Trump is the best candidate. I really don't. But you know what? I can say I think he's the best candidate, but here's what I know he does wrong. I can acknowledge that. I'm strong enough with my candidate. I feel comfortable with my candidate. I can say he does have flaws. The Democrats don't even look at their candidates, and all they do is point out Trump's flaws.
Well, that's the whole thing. They're not boasting of the accolades of Harris out there. They're just bashing Trump.
I thought it was funny. She came out at the at one of her campaign rallies. She said, "The first thing I do when I'm in office is I'm going to tackle the inflation." Well, you're in the fucking White House, bitch.
That's it. You've been there for 3.5 years. And
what are you doing
anything about it? Yeah.
Why do you have to be Why do you have to be the president? We know Joe Biden's not the president.
Yeah.
He's just sitting there with a puppet.
That's right, and it's going to be the same thing all over again with her in there if she gets in there.
I just don't get it. I don't know where we are in this country. How people can't see that.
Well, I think there's a lot of lemmings. I think they want to be led. They don't want to have to make decisions on their own. You find that a lot in society.
Well, I think we're in a sad state.
Oh, I totally agree.
And I don't.
And not just New York.
New York.
Because New York is a sad state, actually, but the whole state in general.
What would be the first? Okay, so
Okay.
you're Donald Trump, all right, and you're faced with what you're seeing today.
Okay.
What do you do? What would be your suggestion to Donald Trump to do to try to move the needle somehow?
To move the needle. Well, I think whatever he does, there's going to be some people up in arms about it because you know that the media is not going to accept it. No matter how good his ideas are, the media is not going to accept it. They're going to come and try to find flaws in it and try to get everybody going and saying, no, you got to fight him on everything that he does. So you know that's what it's going to be. As far as specifics, you got to lower taxes. You got to put more money in everybody's pocket. You got to open up all of our refineries, open up pipelines, start new pipelines, whatever it takes to bring energy costs down. That's what you got to do. I think that's one of the most important things.
So why do you think? So this is me being the interviewer.
Okay.
Okay, and you're the interviewee. So you're the Republican candidate trying to run for office. And
we're in trouble.
I'm gonna be the CNN correspondent.
Okay.
You're ugly, and I think your policies suck. But can you tell me about? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
So why do you think the media thinks all those things are bad? Why do the people that are critics of on our pages think that it's bad for energy independence, think it's bad for us to have lower inflation, think it's bad that taxes are lower, how do these people get convinced or believe that all those things are bad?
Well, because they've been told that for so long. They've been told that, big corporations only want to take your money. They want big profits. So that's why prices are so high. It has nothing to do with anything other than that.
Kamala Harris did say that on the stump speech.
That's their go-to all the time. I don't know. That's why I don't run for office.
I don't know how you convince people to think.
When you really sit down and think about it, it's overwhelming. It's like, how do you take this apart?
How do you peel back that onion?
Yeah. Layers. One layer at a time.
Upon layers. This is one giant yellow onion with a million layers. I don't know. I think that Trump's got such an uphill battle. And what I don't understand, my biggest thing I was talking to, actually, I think it was you today. 3 weeks ago, the polling was astronomically different.
Yeah.
Trump was, I think, almost had double-digit leads in some states against Biden. Kamala Harris had dismal approval rating as a vice president. Right. She was like the nobody knew her type of thing. Just wasn't engaged.
She's only been in the White House for 3.5 years.
Totally unengaged. Yet she's coronated with the VP slot, and all of a sudden everybody loves her. I mean, loves her.
Well, I think that's because
they're joy.
They're told to love her, and that's what they're doing. They're all falling in line, and okay, that's what you want us to do. This is what we're going to do.
But can't people see that this is fake? Does this make any sense? Do you not think for yourself? You didn't like her.
Well, I think you just hit the nail on the head.
You didn't like her 3 weeks ago. All of a sudden you like her?
Yeah. A lot of people don't think for themselves. They want to be told what to think.
I guess that's a huge difference between Democrats and Republicans, because I don't want to be told what to think.
Yeah.
I
totally agree with you.
The comment on my Facebook feed today, I think it was, what do I care what the Democrats do on their political platform? Because it affects my life.
Yeah.
And my family and my country and the things I love and cherish. Of course I'm going to care what they do.
Yeah.
What the hell's wrong with that guy?
Yeah, well, some people have their own way of thinking. We question ourselves about that all the time.
So Tim Waltz, what's your take on him?
Besides the stolen valor aspect of it, how do you abandon the men that you are supposed to be leading when they need you the most? When they're called to service, you have to go over and actually do what you've been trained to do, and you're like, yeah, no, I'm leaving. Sorry. That, I think you lose all credibility.
And then you lie about your rank.
Yeah, you lie about your rank. You lie about carrying a weapon into war.
Which you never was in war.
Absolutely. I mean, that's...
And yet they make fun of J.D. Vance.
Who actually was a Marine who saw service.
And was in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
I mean, excuse me, Iraq.
Yeah. Yep. So it's a double standard thing. Always has been.
I have to tell you, I think that the media had me convinced for a while that Trump had made a huge mistake in picking J.D. Vance. And then the last 2 weeks, I think Donald Trump knew exactly who he was picking in J.D. Vance.
I got to agree with you. He did a great job.
And J.D. Vance is, I've always said, when it comes to Trump, especially this year, you're not looking at Trump. You're looking at who his VP pick is, because that's who's going to be running in 4 years.
Yeah.
And I think J.D. Vance is smart. He's witty. He's quick on his feet. He has American first mentality.
He's not afraid to talk about.
He's not afraid
the
issues.
issues.
To bring up anything. He's not afraid to go in the lion's den and duke it out with somebody. Like you saw walking up to on the tarmac, or putting Dana Bash in her place in the interview. Actually, if you watch the last 3 weeks, the last week and a half, he's done like 15 interviews, and every time I can guarantee you, these reporters or interviewers were like, God, I made a mistake choosing this guy to interview, because he is relentless. He's like got photographic memory. He brings back comments and stats and dates and really pushes back on all their narratives with facts and knowledge, and
he catches them off guard.
Absolutely. And I think it's great. And I think that was what Donald Trump saw in him, and that's something I don't think none of us saw in him, because we didn't. He wasn't.
I didn't really know a lot about him.
Nobody for all of us.
Exactly.
But then again, so was Tim Waltz, and to me, Tim Waltz just shows, I think, the ineptitude of Kamala Harris in picking a candidate. Although, I mean, if you do, I don't know if you listened to his stump speech when he was announced. He is a very captivating speaker. He does come across as a really, they choosing their words, folksy, neighborly Midwestern guy, but he's a thinks like a California Democrat, but a socialist communist almost. But
and he does love horses.
Oh, okay. I don't know what that has to do with anything. What does liking horses?
Just the whole Tim and the horse. I'm not going to bring it up on our show. We have children watching.
I must have missed it. I don't know. I totally you missed me on that one.
We'll talk about it later.
We shall move on. What are you talking about? Please.
Tell me, because I don't want to wait.
But I mean, other than that, he brings nothing to the table, I don't think, for her. I think actually he brings down the ticket. So what's your thought on this? I'm going to bring this up because I heard somebody say it, and I had been thinking about, what about, and I think it's going to fail because too many people, I think people really misunderstood how dumb the population is. What if this was Obama's way of trying to make sure that the election is lost, so he's vying for 2028? to put a better candidate, and then they're looking as a 2024 election is lost. They're looking for, so they put Kamala Harris. They told them to pick Tim Walz because he's a boob, and there's no way they're ever going to win.
So you're thinking he's setting them up to lose because he just wants to come in stronger?
But did not expect the American people to be so freaking dumb.
Oh, I don't know if I even buy into that. I mean, I don't think any Democrat would want to lose an election, especially.
You got to look at the long game.
You know, what I fear.
Going into a war, going into recession, high inflation, these are all bad times ahead. Well, if you're a Democrat, why do you want to be in power during those times?
Well, to me, I look at it a little differently than that. The way I look at it is Obama is so confident in his ability to steal an election because they just did that no matter who they put in there, they're going to win. Because he's going to be pulling the strings no matter who's in there. So he's just, to everybody right now.
What's he doing?
He's doing.
One more time?
Kiss my ass. I'm going to show you. I'll show all you honkies out there.
Baise mon cul. Baise mon cul.
That I can go out there and I'm going to win this election. And that's what it's all about. He's going to. Don't discredit the fact that they're going to cheat again.
Oh, I do think that's happening. I'm hoping, and I really hope that the Republicans did enough in their ground game to try to counteract a lot of that. I see that in Georgia they did do a voter ID.
That should be nationwide. On a national election, there should be voter ID.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I think there should be voter ID. I mean, Kamala Harris, who's anti-voter ID, required IDs to get into her campaign rallies.
Yeah.
What the freak hypocrisy is that?
And they're saying it's racist to expect that a black person has to have an ID.
What, they don't drive? You need an ID to get a cell phone.
You need an ID if you want benefits. If you're poor and you need the government to help you, you still need an ID to sign up for benefits.
So I'm going to make a prediction here.
Okay.
And it's going to be a controversial one. But here's what I think is going to happen.
Okay, I'm listening.
I think there's going to come a point in this election cycle where Joe Biden does an executive order and allows illegals to vote.
Oh, yeah, they're already talking about that. Yeah, I see that.
And what's going to happen?
What he's going to do is he's going to make them citizens, and then they're automatically
mass amnesties to vote, and then it's going to go to court, and it's going to get challenged. But at that point, because the wheels of government roll so slowly, it's going to be
the election's going to be over,
and you're not going to overturn a couple million votes, or however many million votes they got, and the Democrats will have won, by stealing an election that way, and they're going to say, "Oh, they voted fair and square." Yeah.
Oh, it took them 3 years to find all the corruption in Georgia and realize all the mistakes that were happening down there. 3 fucking years after it happened.
Did you just drop the F-bomb?
I did.
That's unusual for you.
Yeah. Well,
wow.
That's how passionate I am about this.
Jesus.
Damn it.
It's scary when you drop F-bombs like that. I don't know. I was really hopeful coming out of the Republican convention because I thought it was such a great convention. And
it was.
I don't feel as hopeful today.
Well, I think that's because you're buying into some of this stuff. As much as you don't want to.
Yeah, but they're such good salespeopeople.
Well, they are. I mean,
but
they've been doing it a long time.
To that point, just think, as a layman, I mean, I'm a pretty politically engaged guy. I love to watch politics. I read a lot, and some people might disagree with what I read, but be that as it may, I still read a lot of political stuff and a lot of novels and whatnot. But if I know the grind that they're putting us through. So somebody who's not really politically engaged, but let's say is a Republican and likes Donald Trump, you're really beat down right now. Because everywhere you look, Trump is losing. Well, that's what they're saying. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, no, I think
Trump is losing.
I think that's a little bit off because I think if true Trumpers out there think he's going to win no matter what, I think you're got to be looking at the people that are on the
that's
line
who he needs.
saying.
But that's who he needs.
But that's who they're trying to bring. They're trying to scare them away from voting for him. My guy doesn't have enough of a chance to win to even show up. Stay away from the passenger, from going out and voting.
Well, unfortunately, we got to call a early show today because we have a lot of things going on.
Yep.
And
I just want to make a comment about
Oh.
voter registration.
Sure.
oh no, shit, let's
Yes.
hear it. God has spoken.
Deadlines are based upon state,
Okay.
so it's not like a national like deadline of sort. It's like all based on a state. So every state's kind of like, you know, the last date to register is different,
Yeah.
which I think is actually kind of weird.
Yeah, but a lot of states offer same-day voter registrations.
Yeah.
I think New York is
Yeah.
one of those.
New York is one of them. Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Crazy.
Yeah.
How do you check that?
You don't.
You don't. You can't. There's
That's why.
not enough time.
That's why they do
Right.
it. Yeah. And that's
It
the
should be a
problem.
national thing. If it's a national election, in order for you to
Yeah.
vote
Here are the laws to follow for
Yeah.
national
for
election.
president, you need to follow this deadline, and it has to be
Now, standardized for
standardized.
federal election. There's a standard.
standardized
Yep.
voting process.
That's the way it should be.
But
and
they
I-
don't want to do that because if they do, then
There's no gerrymandering at that point.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, and suddenly the dailies don't run Chicago. That's an old one. Jeez, I pulled that one out.
That one in a while.
But anyways, like I started saying, we got to cut it short today. But I'd like to try to do some a little further during the week if we can, and we got some more stuff coming up. This is our first show back in 3 weeks. Quick one. Want to get?
Let us know what do you think of the views.
Oh, the new camera
Kind
angle.
of change angles.
Yeah, we changed some stuff around. I'm not sold on it.
I'm not either.
Okay.
But
I'm wondering if maybe we
There's
should
4
do
people
it.
here now.
Yeah, there's 4 of you. You
Shit.
guys are just you're multiplying.
God, I look good.
Only
Which
from
one?
angle.
The more gravy or the less gravy?
The further the better. But thanks a lot. Hey, just you guys know our channel is really growing quite a bit since the last time we're on. So is our Facebook page. Please continue to interact. We love it. If you've tuned in, please subscribe.
And like and share.
And like and share. It's really important. And we love the fact that you guys are on with us. With that said and done, why don't you take us out of here, Mike?
Till we meet again.
Till we meet again.